You go along straight roads around flat land with rich earth, and there's field after field, farm after farm after farm. And then you run across these small little towns every so often, and Osage is one of those. It's a gorgeous little town, and the people seem to have a pride. They were proud of their city and proud of the things that have been accomplished through Osage. What they try and accomplish at the Leeman Educational Center is to remind people that that shiny thing that's off down the road is also right here in the heart of your own community. Big things don't just happen out in the distance, they can happen right here on your street, in your town. So it's the Jerm Leeman Educational Center. The biggest story, the story that they want to lead with, is the story of Jerm Leeman. So as you walk in the door, that's the thing that hits you first. Learning who he is, that this guy of small stature who had this huge impact. We balance that story through a scale that kind of reminds us how small and of presumably insignificant he was, mirrored against the medal that was hung around his neck at the Olympic Games in 1948. And that dichotomy is just really powerful. So we start with this big, rich story that surprises people that wouldn't have expected that in a small little building in Osage, Iowa. They walk into the main lobby and suddenly they're hit with stories beyond just Leeman, but also figures that have had a real impact on Osage and the world in general. So we move from one story to another, learning about engineers, about ministers, about the press, about all the significant people, large and small, that have had a voice in the development of the community. Everything from the flight suit that Bill Fox wore as he tested planes, to the plane hanging over his exhibit, sort of excite the imagination of the kids and make them realize that this is a real thing from a real guy that lived just down my street, all the way to a scale model, a 3-foot wide scale model of the medal that hung around Jerm Leeman's neck in Wembley Stadium at the end of the 1948 Olympics, so they can see the sheen of the medal and all the natural sculpturing. And it becomes this real dynamic, bigger than life thing. Or exploring page after page of the historic stories in the newspapers through an interface that we have around the press machines, and explore the just crevices of these old Heidelberg presses that once told all those stories decades ago in that very same building. I mean, from a design perspective, I like that we were able to tell this story in a physical way that sort of connected back to the building itself. It was a press room. So we locked into the idea of a press where the paper weaves through the wheels and bars of a printing press. So we use that sort of visual image as a way to sort of move these panels of information through these exhibit structures, so that nothing was just a flat panel on a wall. It was all sort of dimensional, and you can walk around it, and the information became more real and dynamic.